So in Dashakam 26, we saw Gajendra Moksham. 24, 25, Narasimha Avataram. 26, Gajendra Moksham. 27, Kshiravdi Madhanam and Kurma. Okay. Now always remember, if such incidents are mentioned, like previously also we had seen Dakshayagam and Chitraketu Charitam. It's not that everything will be in the same chronological order. Bhattatri has tried to condense, you can say, the important incidents like of Srimad Bhagavatam together, or you can say in short. So therefore, it's not that so many aspects in about 10 to 12 verses he has tried to cover. It's not going too much in detail. That doesn't mean that both of this has happened together. Okay. Of course, in this case, Kshiravdi Mathanam, Kurma Avataram, definitely Kshiravdi Mathanam, if it is taking place, Kurma Avataram took place at that time to balance the Mandara amount. So let's continue. Durvasa Sura. So once it so happened that says Durvasa, Vanitapta Divyamalyam, Vanitapta Divyamalyam. He had got a, you can say, a very divine garland also from the Apsaras in heaven. And he gave to Shakraya, he gave it to Shakra, that is Lord Indra. But Indra, what he did was, Nagendra Pratimridite. Purposely, I'm using Sanskrit word so that you know the meaning. Nagendra, another name for Hastaha, elephant. But Indra, what he did is, he gave it to his elephant Airavata. And elephant, as usual, what is going to happen is, it doesn't know what it is, it crushes the garland, the divine garland under its feet. But what happened is, Kakshantis, looking at this, Durvasa gets very angry and he feels that what is this? I gave Indra something, and this is how he has behaved. And Durvasa gets very angry on this. Kshanti actually means patience, or you can say tolerance also. Yeah. So here Bhattatri cries out saying that even after seeing such incidents also, and in spite of me being so ill, I'm not able to come out of it. Almost last 26 Dashakams I'm pleading, but still for devotees like me, there is no Kshanti. Kshanti means there's no tolerance level at all. I don't know how I'm going to suffer all this. But at the same time, there is no tolerance seen at all, except for those who are blessed by Kakshantes Tvad Itara. Those who are blessed by you, O Lord, we have faith in you, right? Okay. Today troubles have come and tomorrow it will be okay, tomorrow it will be okay. We have this faith, so we have some kind of tolerance or patience in us. But what of those who don't have that faith in you or who don't have that patience, they are definitely going to suffer. So I'm also in that category only. And so this is just one line which he speaks, and then he continues with the story. So further, what happens is Indra. What now? Indra is the one. Indra is the name of a Padavi. So Indra Deva, that is the king at that time. Indra at that time, he had got a boon that he will never become old. Also, he'll always remain young. But because of the curse given by Durvasa, Indra turned out to be old. Now for Devas, or you can say celestial beings who live in Swargaloka. I'm talking about Swargaloka, that is Indraloka, Brahmaloka, and so on. Indraloka especially. So the various Apsaras, Indradi Devas, they all will never turn out to be old also. So that's the reason they take all this Surapanam, Amritam, and so on. So they always look charming, young, and so on. So for them, if you have to get old, that is like a great insult also. Okay. So here Indra, he turns out old, and the Devas also had been defeated by the Asuras, everything. They lost all their glory. And finally, all the gods along with Shiva, they all went to Brahma. And few of them along with Shiva, few of them were there along with Brahma. All of them went together. Finally, they came and met you, O Lord. But the three cries out. So all of them together with Shiva and Brahma come to meet Vishnu in Vaikuntham. At that time, it seems that Brahmadi Deva, Brahmadestu Tamahima, Dashakam 27, verse 3. Brahma and all the gods started singing praises in praise of you. That's when you came in front of them and said that you do one thing. All of you, all the Devas, you go, you make peace with the Asuras also by churning the ocean. That's how the Samudra Mathanam story comes. Finally, the Devas go, they meet Asuras, and it seems they carried the Mandara mountain as a churning rod. You need something to churn the ocean, right? So the main churning rod was Mandara mountain. But while the Devas were carrying the Mandara mountain, it seems that the mountain fell from their hands. At that time, the Lord himself came on Garuda. Brashtesmin Padaramivod Vahan Khagendre. Khagaha in this context means Garuda. And Badaramiva. Badara meaning a small berry, like a gooseberry you can consider. So the Lord, the Devas could not carry the mountain. Yeah. And Devas and Asuras both you can consider. Both of them, they were about to carry the Mandara mountain. Devas mainly. It fell down in between because they could not carry the mountain because of its weight. That's when the Lord sitting on the back of Garuda comes there and he picks up Mandara mountain as if it's a small berry or so. And he kept it in between the milk ocean. That's when then next now the churning rod is done. Now you need the rope. That's when Lord Shiva's snake Vasuki was kept. Now both the Devas and Asuras started churning the ocean of milk. Now while churning, what has to be churned? Right now, whenever we churn milk or so, what do you churn actually? The milk, you have a lot of butter, this and that comes out. So there has to be something. Similarly, here also the water, ocean had a lot of herbs, seeds, and so on. So all that was there, and that's how churning was taking place. Now the Lord, Bhattatri says, that's when cleverly you made the Asuras hold the head of the snake tail. Now that also is what was the trick. If you see, that's not directly mentioned here because Bhattatri is mentioning everything in short. So what the Devas and Asuras were told that you hold the tail part of the snake. Asura said, why should we hold the tail part? Usually if you see the back or the tail part is not considered that auspicious. Right? But if I have to be there, I'll always be in front also. I'll consider the front portion. This is what we say. Asura said, no, 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 we'll hold on the head portion only, not the back side of the snake. Deva said, okay, please do it. Now there was a strategy behind this. You see, Vasuki, the snake, will be continuously emitting poison, which can be dangerous. So therefore, very smartly they knew that Asuras will not accept the backside of the snake. So anyways, they're going to do that, but in a different manner, very cleverly, Lord Vishnu and the gods made this plan. So the Asuras held the head of the snake, the Devas were holding the tail. That's when what happened is the Mandara mountain, while it was being churned, it was sinking inside. Right? Now it needs a base, right? If you're churning something, you need a proper base to support it. You cannot just place something in between the ocean and it will start sinking. So now the Devas started worrying. Now what to do, and so on. That's when the Lord takes an avatara. Deveshu vyathitameshu, vyathita meaning they started worrying. Pranaishi kamatatanum kathora prishtam. That's when finally you took a form of a turtle. Kamathatanum meaning a form of a tortoise. Kamathaha tortoise. That's when the Lord, oh Lord, you assumed the form of a tortoise, Kurmaha, and you came there. And then you were deep, you dived inside the ocean, you brought up the sinking mountain, and that it seems that the Lord in the form of Kurma balanced the Mandara mountain on his back, which was harder than a thunderbolt is thing. Vajrati stiratara. It was harder than the Vajrayudham of Indra, and it was more than a lakh yojanas, it seems, in width. That huge was Mandara mountain. The Lord kept, or you can say, he held the Mandara mountain on his back. Finally, it was lifted up. Again, the Devas and Asuras continued churning the mountain. And at that time, you entered, it seems. The Lord, Avishadvitaya Gane Pisarparaje, the Lord entered into the bodies of Devas, Asuras, Vasuki, and so on. And it seems that he removed their worries, he removed their tiredness, fatigue. That's what is mentioned here. Now, why here a question comes, why did he enter the bodies of Asuras? That was not needed, right? If he was to support the Devas. So here, the Lord Vishnu, or in the form of Kurma, he was not there to support anyone. He was not here to support one party as such. The Devas were putting in efforts. Whoever wins, the Lord might support them later. But initially, here, Lord Vishnu is not playing a part from any side. So he's not a part of the Devas, not a part of the Asuras. So he is being neutral here. That's the reason he entered the body of both Devas and Asuras and removed both their fatigue. So here you see the competition was equal. There was no partiality at all. Again, a lesson from this: in front of God, one who surrenders, irrespective of person's background. Oh, he belongs to so and so category, I'll not bless him. If that was so, today Prahlada will not be the greatest devotee of the Lord. Prahlada belongs to the Rakshasa Kula, but still he is regarded as one of the greatest devotees of Vishnu, right? Or even Ravana for that matter. Ravana as an Asura, Brahma, Shiva will say, I'll not bless him. No. He has done tapasya. For his karma, we have to definitely bless him. For his dushkarma also, he will get the punishment, right? So this is how things are put in. Here also, the Asuras are also putting in efforts to churn the ocean. Therefore, their fatigue also will be removed. So the Lord was neutral and equal from both sides. So here, when such things are mentioned, we have to look deeply, thinking that it's not at all one side, saying that no, Devas are good, Asuras are bad, so the Lord also takes. If you do some dushkarma, for that definitely you'll reap the punishment. But you do some good karma, or if you are doing something equally, like if there is a battle now, your devas, asuras, both are putting in efforts, right? Though Vishnu belongs to the category of devas, he does not support. This is a life lesson for all of us. Just because few people or few things we like, we should never go in the favor of that. There should always be, you can say, openness. Whatever is there, it's there. Both of you put in efforts. Whoever gets it, you get it. Some people do this. Right now, I know him personally. You get things done, and so on. Such things that happen. That should never ever be done. The Lord Himself shows this through Kurma Avataram. This reference. So here, the Lord entered and removed all their fatigue and so on. That's when. Next, what happens is again, now Mandara mountain continuously, both the Devas and Asuras, once their tiredness, fatigue, everything was removed, they started churning the ocean with more enthusiasm. That's when the Mandara mountain, it started shaking trembly. It started shaking a lot. And at that time, what happened is the Lord kept Uddama Bravana. The speed was more. So he kept a lotus on top. Verse 9, Dashakam 27. He kept a lotus on it firmly to keep it in position, to keep cold. And that's when Brahma, Shiva, everyone was seeing this side. They were all joyful and they started praising the Lord. They started showering flowers on the Lord. Finally, it seems that a lot of poison was being emitted from the mouth of the serpent. Asuras were facing trouble now. And the Devas also, to some extent, they were troubled. Because see, Vasuki is very huge, right? When it starts emitting poison, obviously it's going to affect people. So that's when it seems that by your Karuna, what happens is, by the Lord's Karuna, Bhattatri says, the clouds started pouring in rain, it seems. So the heat which was coming out through the poison emitted, all that went away in water. So this is, but here what happened is, the rain that was there, Amara Gadan Dadaitya Sangan, rain fell on the Devas, not on the Asuras. So here again a contradictory question comes. Why here the Lord behaves differently? Because Asuras themselves had chosen the mouth of the snake. So that's the reason here why the rain does not fall alone, or compassion, Karuna was not shown on the Asuras because they themselves had made a choice to hold the head. So now, anyways, they have to suffer. Again, a life lesson for the decisions that you make. If you have to face something, then you cannot later sit and regret, oh, I did this, I should have not done this, everything is happening wrong with me. If you have taken a decision, if that is wrong, we have to suffer for that, you have to bear for it, right? So, this small instances, but the way we look at things is very, very important. Way we interpret the same thing here, Lord also does. Finally, what he does is last words, he says, in spite, Bhattatriya cries out that while churning the ocean also, it was not that immediately all the gems also came out. A lot of aquatic creatures, fishes, everything were thrown up. You're churning the ocean, right? So on the ocean bed, a lot of aquatic creatures came out. And finally, what happens is Bhattacharya says, you alone, you are shining brightly also. And you, in the end, it seems that the Lord Himself pulled the two ends of the serpent to churn the ocean properly. If this was the extent to which He went in helping the Devas and Asuras and the Samudra Mathanam. So Bhattacharya cries out, if you can do this, Pavana Puresha Pahi Roga, please free me from my ailments also. If you can go to any extent to help your devotees, why are you not freeing me from my ailments? So this was Dashakam 27. Further, Dashakam 28 is a continuation. What happens next? Lakshmi Swayamvaram, Amrita Pradurбhavam. Now, slowly, okay, Dashakam 27, could everyone follow? Yes? Now, finally, okay. Dashakam 28, now what happens is, now the churning of the ocean is done, Kurma Avataram is done. Next is, now after churning of the ocean, slowly things start coming out. So, what actually comes out? First one, Garalam Tarala Nalam Purasat Kalakutam. First of all, now Kalakuta poison comes out. So, first of all, now see, this is so demotivating, right? You put in so much of effort, suddenly poison is coming out. So, what happens is all the gods they pray to Lord Shiva. Amarasto Devad, Amarasto Devadamoda Nigno Girishaha, another name for Lord Shiva. And she drank that, and that's what the poison, this is how it goes away, and the Lord Vishnu was also pleased. Finally, what happens is continuously again churning was happening. Second, Kamadhenu, the divine cow, came, and Lord Vishnu gave the cow to the sages. That's the reason why you have Kamadhenu, this cow being with the Vasishta. Then next, what came is horse. Uchchaishravaha, the horse came. Hayaratna, Hayaha, jewel among horses, Uchchaishravas. Then Airavata came. Atha Ibharatnam, Airavata, the elephant of Indra came. Then Kalpaka, which was again the divine tree or the celestial tree, you can say, that came out. Then Apsaras started coming from the ocean. All this was given to the gods. Ah, someone raised your hand. Ah, yeah, tell. Sanjeev ji. Correct. Yes. Neelaha Kantaha, yes, yes. Aha. Now, this Neelakantaha word is also used for Mayuraha, peacock. Yeah. So, one with a blue neck. As such, it's become famous for Lord Shiva from here. Finally, what happened is Jagadisha Bhavat Paratadani, verse 3, Dashakam 28. Kamaniya Kamala Babhuva Devi Lakshmi Avataram. Finally, Goddess Mahalakshmi emerges out. Looking at her, everyone was fascinated. She was so pure, and it seems that passion started developing in the minds of Asuras. Devas were also very, very happy. That's when, but what Tvaidattarade Bhattatri says that Goddess Mahalakshmi has set her heart on you, O Lord, and it seems that all the sages who were there, they started singing praises in for Goddess Mahalakshmi, and she, the way she walked, also her robes, her necklace, her ornaments, everything was very, very beautiful. Finally, what happened is Goddess Mahalakshmi came out with a garland in hand, and she approached you. And as she walked, it seems that her anklets, the nupuras which she was wearing, that was also making some noise also, and very beautifully she came. So that description is given in detail. Finally, she realized that there are many gods here, many people here, but all of them are having some or the other defects. But you, O Lord, are perfect in every way. Therefore, she put the garland on you. Verse 7, Goddess Mahalakshmi puts the mala around Lord Vishnu. So Lakshmi Swayamvaram is done. Finally, now once Lakshmi Devi came in, she was immediately kept on your Vakshasthanam. Why this was done is Urasa Darasa Mamani Tainam Bhuvananam Janani Mananya Bhava. Why the goddess placed, why Lord Vishnu placed the goddess on his Vakshasthanam is to give a place of honor. Now, when do we remember people? To keep someone on one's heart, now it doesn't mean that physically Goddess Mahalakshmi is sitting on the chest or Vakshasthanam of Krishna, of Lord Vishnu in general. The significance behind it is, now in general life also you see, few people we remember, right? We say that I will always remember you, I'll always remember your efforts. Why? Because of something which the person does, because of some kind of honor, respect, anything which the person would have done. Similarly, here also the same context is there, because of the respect. Bhuvananam Janani, she's going to be the mother of all the three worlds. That's the reason, to give her proper respect, Lord Vishnu keeps her in his heart. And thus, wherever she went, wherever Vishnu went, she used to shower her graces. Also, prosperity used to emerge everywhere. Paripushtam, paripushta, paripushtamasa vishvam. So that's the reason why we say every day during the evening time also, Goddess Mahalakshmi comes to our houses. If our houses are gloomy, if our houses are not, you can say there's no lighting of lamps, this and that, there's darkness everywhere. Goddess Mahalakshmi does come, but Alakshmi comes in and she returns back, it seems. Goddess Mahalakshmi should never return back from our doors. She should always come inside. So that's the reason why in the evening time usually you see you on the lights, you put the light the lamp and so on. So everything should always be happy. Otherwise prosperity will never ever be there. So that's the reason Goddess Vishnu gave her a very, very important place. Finally, what happened is Surapanam, liquor came out. Atimohana Vibramatadani Madayanti Kaluvaruni. Liquor, alcohol called Varuni, it came out. Now, this was given to the Asuras. Now, next, what happened is finally Dhanvantari Bhagavan comes out. Finally, Dhanvantari Bhagavan comes out with a pot of nectar, Amritam in hand. O Lord of Guruvayur, now Amritam has also come out. Kindly please relieve me of all my ailments. So, this is how Bhattatri he cries out towards the end. Next, Dashakam 29. Finally, the Amrita that comes out, that is stolen, and Asuras are fought. Now, Next, what happens is, as Dhanvantri comes out, Asuras immediately snatched from his hands. This itself shows Asurik Buddhi. Something has come out, let us wait, let us maybe share it amongst themselves. No. Stealing, snatching, also, this itself is Asurik Buddhi. That's what the Asuras did. Devas became helpless. Finally, Devas started worrying. Lord comes and consoles the Devas. And thus, by Maya also, it seemed because of the Lord's Maya, the Asuras, they forgot that they actually wanted Amritam. They started fighting and quarreling amongst themselves. Finally, the Lord, Mohini Avataram, Dashakam 29. Shyamamrushapi Vayasapi Tanam Tadani. Verse 2, Dashakam 29. Lord assumed the form of a young and beautiful lady who was again, she, Asuras were fascinated by her beauty. That's when they gave up their quarrel, they gave up their Amritam, everything, and they were infatuated, it seems. And the Asuras asked the lady, it seems, Ka tvam mrigakshi, mrigakshi. The way they called out, this itself shows their nature. One having eyes of a female deer. There's a doe, D-O-E, mrigakshi. So it seems that the Asuras asked Mohini, goddess Mohini Devi, that who are you? Please distribute this nectar and so on. And that's when Mohini, it seems that she asks, Kulata Asmi, I can be someone who's quite dangerous. So, how do you trust me saying that I will definitely give you this nectar? I can be someone who's very much dangerous for you. So, therefore, don't trust me easily. That's what the Mohini says. But here, they said they were so much passionate about her, they were fascinated. They said, no, nothing. They just gave the pot of nectar completely to Mohini. Moda Sudha Kala Shamesha Dadatsu Satvam. Now, here, how it is now, okay, a quick question. Verse number 4, or in this entire Dashakam, there is no mention of Mohini as such. How do you know it is Mohini? Or how do you know that it is a female form of the Lord? Is it a goof up by Bhattatri, or it is to be understood? And what if a person doesn't know the story? It's correct, right? There is no mention of Mohini here. The Lord has assumed a female form that's also not clearly mentioned as such. Just because now we know the story, we are assuming. But is there any mention? But is there a goof up from Bhattatri? Or he thought that no, anyways, people know, so it's okay. No one? That can be okay. So basically, to be understood, right? But here, if you see such things don't work, if something is not mentioned, mhm, no, uh no. So here, verse number 4. Modat Sudha Kalashameshu Dadatsu Satvam Sa Strilingam Sahatvam na Satvam. Meaning the pot of nectar was given Sudha Kalasha. The pot of nectar was given to you. Who's that you here? Satvam. You is Tvam. Sa is her. Or you can say a female form. Sahapullingam male. Sa, this pronoun is Strilingam. This itself indicates that Vishnu in the female form, Mohini. So very subtle meaning, but you have to make a note of this. So there is Sa, which indicates that the Lord has assumed a female form. So what happened is Mohini further what she says is she made both the Devas and Asuras sit in separate rows and she started distributing the nectar. Now while the Asuras thought that Mohini was very much fond of them, they were all waiting silently. It seems that the Lord in the form of Mohini, he finished giving the Amritam to the Devas. As always, he's want to favor his devotees only. He took his own form, and there at that time, what happened is one among the Asuras, Rahu, he came to know about the trick of Mohini. He went and sat in the line of Devas. The Lord gave him a little bit of Amritam. Rahu drank it also. Immediately, he drank half of the nectar. Immediately, the Lord realized that this is an Asura. He cut off his head. And that's how only the head of Rahu always remains. Now, it seems that the Asuras did not like this. Again, they started fighting with the Devas also. This time what happened is when now this cutting that takes place, Rahu and Ketu, that's the reason, though we consider them in the part of Navagrahas, this is one reason why it happens, because Rahu was given Amritam, right? Rahu, Ketu. Rahu, basically, he was given Amritam, and that's why little bit of Rahu dosham we find in our, you can say, the whatever horoscopes, this and that, or Rahu Kala and so on. So again, it's not to be blamed on the, it is Rahu Kala inauspicious and so on. Not only for that reason, but little bit why do we worship Rahu also? This is one of the reason, because he was given little bit of Amritam. And here is this context that comes in, that why people don't consume, or it is told that you should not consume onions, garlics, or so. It is believed that when Mohini Devi, she cut off the head of Rahu, from that, from the head of the, from the cutting of the head, you have onion and garlic that actually came out. Now you might be wondering how it is actually possible, practical, and so on. The main point to be noted is onions and garlic, if you see, they have that strong smell, right? Strong smell or strong taste. That's the reason the food seems to be tasty, but it is quite attractive, right? So it is quite similar to the dosha or things that we do, right? Rahu dosha also, we don't do it on purpose, but then the impacts are so much, you keep suffering something, and so similarly, onions, garlics also, if you see, when you consume, the taste remains in the mouth for a longer period of time. The food becomes tasty, so we lose our sattva guna. We feel like eating more and more, more and more, more and more. It leads to overeating. At the same time, there are ushna. It causes a lot of heat in our body. Next, even the smell, that is. That's the reason whenever you eat onions, garlics also, you would have seen for yourself. Even in the hands also, the smell that is there remains for a longer period of time. Even then, the taste in the mouth also remains. How much ever you wash your mouth, this and that. Whereas for all other food also, it doesn't happen that way. All other vegetables, it's not so. So this is the belief that is there. It's not wrong. It's not, why should I not eat? It's a vegetable, this and that. You can eat, but why people say that you should not eat it? It loses about sattva gunam, wherein you feel like eating more and more, you end up overeating. Sattva gunam loses, right? The taste lingers in your mouth for a long period of time. Similarly, even in the case of the fruit mango, if you see, mango is again a seasonal fruit. Why so? Now, all other fruits, if you see all around the year, somehow you can get. Nowadays, mangoes also you get. Mangoes, it's not, nobody tells you to not consume mangoes. But then you see the smell in the hand remains for a longer period of time. That's because of its strong nature. How much ever you use soap, this and that. So that's the reason why people in those times used to avoid certain foods. This is the reason for that. Because the smell or the things which remains in your hand, the taste, it remains for a longer period, wherein it's like you are not able to concentrate on things more. Finally, the food is more tasty also, you end up more time eating food, right? Then you end up overeating, it has got its own problems. So like this, and then at the same time it develops ushnata, heat in our body, which again causes problems. So like this, whatever has been told has got certain reasons also. You follow it, you don't follow it, that's everyone's personal choice, but things have been told. For everything there is a reason behind it. Now finally what happens is, with this, the Samudra Mathanam gets over. Now again the Asuras started fighting with the Devas. The Devas were this time defeated. Tattasudha Yogya, verse number 6, Dashakam 29. This time Mahabali Asuras, the Senapati of the Asuras, he defeated the Devas, it seems. Finally, in a particular battle, the Lord also was a part of the battle. He killed an Asura called Kalanemi, Mali Asuras. Indra killed Jambavan, Vali, Balijam, Bavalan, Sapaka. Now these are all different, not from the Ramayana reference. So like this, there were many Asuras who were killed. Finally, what happened is, now Yosha Vapov Danuja Mohana Ahitam Te. Lord Shiva heard of the Mohini Avataram which you had taken. Now, why are the references heard? Shiva was a part there, right? He was present there. Why he didn't see? Why did he hear? Can there be any reason for that? Yosha Vapov Danuja Mohana Ahitam Te Shrutva. Why it is mentioned as Shrutva? Shiva heard that you have assumed a female form, O Lord. Why did he hear? He could have seen, right? He was also there. Why? All such things you have to think over it. And it is mentioned, but 3 says Shrutva, I'll also believe that. Shiva has consumed the hala hala poison which first comes out. He's totally tired, he cannot get up from his bed. That's when Shiva retires back to Kailasa. He retires, he sleeps there and he takes care. He rests along with Parvati. on the day of Ekadashi. That's the reason most of us also we don't consume food on Ekadashi. But just chanting Ramanama, Shiva also ends up doing that because the effects of the poison had made him very tired. On the next day on Dwadashi, slowly after the effect of poison reduces, then slowly he gets up and starts consuming little. That's the reason on the day of Dwadashi, when we break our Ekadashi fast, we eat little. We should not overeat after any fast, rather. So this is because Shiva did not, as such, witness Mohini Avataram. He later heard about this. He was also deluded. The greatest tapasvi of the world, he was also deluded by this enchanting form of Lord Vishnu. And it seems that Lord Shiva, along with Uma and all the Bhutaganas, came to Vaikuntham and he started praying to you and so on. And that's when what happened is Lord Vishnu disappeared from there when Shiva and the Bhutaganas came. Finally, what happened is Shiva, he saw you in the. Now, Shiva had requested Lord Vishnu that I want to see you in the female form again. The Lord says, no, I cannot show you again and again. Just because you want to see, I cannot take that form. There should be a purpose. That's the reason he disappeared from Vaikuntham. Shiva followed him. They went to a garden together. And that's when Kamadeva also, though Lord Shiva was the one who was a killer of Kamadeva, but looking at the female form of Vishnu, even Shiva was also attracted and enchanted. That's when they went to a nearby garden also. At that time, Shiva saw Lord Vishnu gave darshana in the form of Mohini to Shiva. That's when Shiva. Now, in another reference, we know the birth of Lord Ayyappa. That's the reason Shasta. That's the reason Lord Shiva and Mohini they come out together. That's how the story goes. We should not look that oh Shiva was enchanted even by Mohini. That this is the Leela or Mahima of the Lord, wherein if in front of the Lord nothing exists at all, even Shiva, the greatest tapasvi, he also was enchanted. But at the same time, we should not consider Shiva low. Shiva, there is a purpose behind everything. We need Lord Ayyappa, Lord Shasta to rule over. The birth of Lord Ayyappa, Shiva and Mohini. Of course, that is not highlighted here. In other references, it comes. So the last verses, Shiva, he followed Mohini and he obtained knowledge, it seems. Vikasat Paramartha Bodha attained the highest form of uh, knowledge. And at this time, what happened is Virya Pramoksha. So his generative fluid or the seed that was there was released. That's how you have the birth of Lord Ayyappa. Both of them were together. And he narrated the greatness of the Lord, greatness of Vishnu, greatness of Mohini to Uma at that time. Uvach tava mahatvam uvacha devyai tattadrishastvamadvavata niketanatha. Finally, Bhattacharya concludes that you are so great. The Lord Shiva himself is narrating your glories to Goddess Uma. Now, please show your greatness, your blessings, shower your blessings unto me and free me from my ailments. So, with this, Dashakam 29 comes to an end.